Alright, well, that's probably enough dilly-dally shilly-shally. Let's follow up on that cliffhanger. They took him away. I was so vindicated by how my reaction to that entire tour was just, I want to flee this location. I want to run away. Please let me run away. That was Act 3, huh? All of Act 4 I was just kind of like hanging overhead, this threat. The sun's coming up. There was like a storm or a flood again, I guess? These are like levees or something, holding back the water. Natural dirt levees. There's a dead horse for some reason. Just give me a minute. How did this all fit in that truck? It's bigger on the inside. I think it rained. Rained a lot, I mean. The worms are gonna be out for sure. Have you ever heard a worm sing? They only sing if they trust you without reservation. The worm song is completely unique. I don't want to haul this stuff any further until we know exactly where we're going. I think I see some houses over there. It's a nice morning for a walk, but a bit muddy. They gave us a tease of it with that phone call last episode. But here we are. Sunlight. What? I'm controlling the cat from last chapter? Oh, and instead of a horseshoe, my mouse is a dragonfly. Oh, this is trippy. That is not the that's not the gameplay interaction you're expecting in that moment. Wow. In that museum, I questioned whether or not the space around me made sense, or if there was like an exaggerated panorama to everything, and I kind of feel like that still might be true. It feels like the area outside of my opening area is somehow too big compared to the space around it. It's like when I run in a circle, if the surrounding area is somehow more than 360 degrees, if you know what I mean. It's weird. It feels like it's impossible for the surrounding area to be as big as it is. It's really trippy. Junebug and Johnny strained to hear the noises coming from the well. It's like two people talking, but not to each other. Talking to themselves, maybe? They're each alone. You think the truck's okay down there? Sure. I doubt any thief would get it started. I love that the artist decided to try to draw each cat meow. Try to visually express each one. What an idea. What a horrifying abyss to have just in the middle of your town. This terrifying sinkhole looking drop into nothing. One of those wrought iron spiral staircases that you often see in those kinds of caverns. There's another cat. Alert meow. A slithering sound from somewhere in the grass. Yeah, I guess this is yet another animal. Another party member we picked up over the course of the adventure is this cat. This shouldn't have happened. We should have prepared better. All of us. But most of all, that damn company who built this place and left it only half built when they pulled out of town. Damn shame. So a storm was ravaging the surface while we were gone. I think we spent some time in the world in episode 3? Yeah, because episode 2 ends with us meeting the eagle. So episode 3 we still went around in the world a little bit on the surface. But then for like the second half of 3 and all of 4, we were completely away from here. And we never came back. And apparently stuff was happening up here. Can I go in there? Can I go upstairs? Oh, did you just go through the house? No? Oh, you're behind the house. The seer reclined high in a tree, carving fine details into a small wooden pipe. She loved this spot. The height, the distance. She was always at a distance, watching everyone work. From this height, she could see the earth movers shaping the mounds under the draftsman's supervision. She could see him inspecting his plan, the drawing he's made for her game, the map. The seer. Oh, they're gone. Somebody who's not actually there right now. So not too sad. No, I think it should be happy? Right. It's a remembrance. Right. Like a monument. Totally. So, they should be represented with dignity and respect, of course. Of course. But not to the point where it makes everyone feel like they have to be serious when they're standing under it. Does that make sense? No, yeah. It definitely does. I think I have an idea. Great. I'll just dig in. Thanks, Marianne. Happy to help. A memorial. Oh, hey, it's the guy from the bar. Think it'll rain soon? Nah. I don't see any clouds. Hell, it'll probably rain anyhow. Just our luck. Assertive meow. Oh, really? He thinks it's going to rain again tomorrow. Huh. Nah. I don't know, man. Animals have a sense for the weather. Is that him? You don't get a lot of detail to go on with these characters. But I thought this might be the father from the chapter, The Entertainment. But I guess they probably turned into skeletons. A croak reverberates inside the smoker. What? A frog slips out into the grass, too quick to see. I guess the croak was my own voice reverberating. Paint and chalk in the small bag. Diary in the large bag. Stuffed dog in the small bag. Photograph of Chris in the large bag. No. In the small bag? Sandra couldn't decide. Should she keep the photo of her husband, or should Alex keep the photo of his father? Aw. That's rough. So I guess they're splitting up and they're sorting the items of who gets to keep what. She dreaded the separation from her son. It was obviously a punishment, even though Fraser insisted it was just to help Alex develop independence and community ethics. She knew she was being punished for her complaints and feedback circle, when she was the only one who dared speak against the butchering of the community's goats. She'd seen the same thing happen to Isabel. Isabel, where was she now? She and her children just disappeared into the woods. She set everything down, closed her eyes, massaged her temples, and wondered, not for the first time, how Fraser had consolidated so much invisible power so quickly. How had he done it? Had he in fact done anything at all to claim this incredible lattice of influence? Or had they simply, blindly, given it to him? They have weird houses. What's going on here? There's a weird fence and some weird houses. Looks like a different community than everything else around it. Was there like a cult around here? Wow, these houses are really different too. This community is a patchwork. Wanda snores. Fearful meow. Wanda sleeps peacefully. How do I ruin that? Probably shouldn't sleep in the sun. You get burned.
Will it still fly?
Oh yes, she's got banged up a little in the storm. I'll have her up and running again by this afternoon, I'm sure.
Can I fly it?
Well, how's your upper body strength?
It's good. Really good.
This old girl's operated by pulleys. I mean 100% mechanical. Well, except for the throttle.
I could do that.
I admire your confidence, young man. Yep, just a little bent metal. I'll have her skyworthy again in a matter of hours.
Wow.
I've been doing this a long time, kiddo. Flying machine that requires upper body strength. We use pulleys in order to make the whole thing go. Does it flap? Like, is that what they're saying? At first, they only observed the truck from a distance. It was an alien carcass, something that had made more sense in death than in life. The company had dropped it off in the middle of the day, when everyone was at the plant. They let it sit overnight, alone and strange. Nikki thought it was ridiculous, but Ron approved. To Elmo, the truck was simply beautiful. He thought it was elegant. He liked the idea of passing it every day, observing it from different angles and distances. He didn't care if they used it or not. Anyway, there weren't any roads in town, unless you maybe counted the old airstrip. Everyone had to agree this was money and attention that would have been better spent addressing the town's drainage problems. Maybe finally get started on that damned messianic ditch. Still, they had a few things to dispose of. Broken flower pots, empty glass bottles, clothes that didn't fit anymore. They gradually fell into the habit of collecting waste and carrying it into the truck. Once a month, some shadows would come in from the night woods and haul the garbage away on a cart. What a bizarre case of, like, weird pointlessness. Americans are used to broken systems, though. This bizarre idea, it's a truck that's almost like a symbol more than anything. Like, that's the garbage truck, it's where garbage goes. But, like, it doesn't collect any garbage. You bring the garbage to it, and then somebody else takes the garbage away. But at no point does the garbage truck really do anything besides be a larger dumpster. Oh, that's WEVP. That's where the actual station is. So this was actually a really local little environment then. People would come into this little station here from like the local houses that are like right next door. Elmo gave Rita a tour of the cameras and wiring. She'd just been through a certificate program on public broadcasting at the community college, so no surprises there. Nikki showed her the video databank. James demonstrated the Sandin image processor. And then Ron came barreling in with an urgent expression. The image processor was a beautiful machine. James had inherited its care from another artist, reverse engineering it for maintenance with help of a dusty, photocopied tome labeled the Distribution Religion. Rita learned just enough to make throbbing, hypnotic rainbows appear on the screen, which seemed to be the machine's favorite trick. She wondered what they use it for in practice. Ron's news was clearly bad news. Rita's heart sank a little as they listened. She knew things were unraveling, knew from experience what that looked like. Wouldn't it be nice to arrive at the beginning of something for once? But as she listened to Ron detail the power company's sudden withdrawal from town affairs, she heard other possibilities. She studied their faces and found concern, for sure, but also something like relief, hope, an awakening of play. Nikki looked like she might have been daydreaming. These were people, Rita decided, ready to step out of the company's shadow and build something of their own. Ron said the TV would still be funded by court order. Could that be their anchor? It's kind of a community that goes through like endless cycles of destruction and rebuilding. Collapse and repair. Oh shit, you used to work here. Slow-mo crow. What insightful conversation we've had. The slow-mo crow still around. The final champion of WEVP. This is just a farce now, right? We just have the shape of a house in concrete or something, or plaster. Abandoned. It's like an art representation of a house. Is this the thing that the other person said to build as a remembrance, maybe? No. Yeah, no, that wasn't a memory. The shadow people seem to be memories, but that was just people that were talking right now. Six or seven men stood in the sun about a dozen yards from the ditch, and he could hear them laughing. He tried not to hear them. Instead, he listened to the shovel punching through the dirt as he shaped the trench. It was wet dirt. Mud, really. It made a hungry sound as he shaped the trench walls. Glare from the noon sun made his sinuses tingle. The trench was a foot wide now. By the time he was done, he expected it to be about twice that, and to run most of the way from the middle of town over to where it would drain it off into the creek. The out-of-towner stuck his shovel into the dirt and squeezed the bridge of his nose. He sneezed, took a swig from his thermos. The laughter quieted into greedy chuckles, and he could feel the men approaching. Why were they approaching? They're just gonna melt away. What was their deal? Something in the bushes stirs. There's still ghosts walking around back here. Waffles for any weather. Huh. Why not, I guess. I guess they're used to weather around here. More of that garbage that doesn't have a truck to pick it up. They were beautiful animals. No, I should stay. I should say simply that they were our neighbors. I should focus on their character. Gentle. Oh. Hello. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. I'm writing something... a sort of a poem. What's it for? It's for the neighbors. Oh, that's it. They really make this feel organic. With just the sort of way that the characters are kind of all wandering around. That shadow's kind of freaking out. I think it's caused by movement, like the camera changing makes the light render weird and kind of have some struggles there. I guess having a well-lit environment wasn't the artist's forte. The game definitely didn't really build itself around this aesthetic. It seems to be having a bit of a struggle. But the characters are actually wandering around. So as I talk to them one place, they show up elsewhere. Oh, hi, kitty. Where did you come from, huh? Follow a bird up here? These folks? The ones who built this thing? They chased birds too. Really? That's what they wrote. They followed some migrating birds up here from Central America. Somewhere up to Florida. Oh, those are birds that are screaming. I was like, what's that noise? And then here. Well, that's what they wrote anyway. I guess it might have been a metaphor. Well, here's actual birds, but these ones were brought here. George scanned the shelf. He quickly found the book he was looking for. There were only a few dozen left. More shelves than books now. The result of an experiment called the New Selection. Privately, he called it the Purge. But only privately. In small groups of reliable complainers. The unspoken rule was to hold back criticism as long as possible. Experiments needed time to unfold naturally, without the interference of doubt. George would have preferred to complain more freely. Even the scheduled feedback circle sessions had been losing their teeth lately, he thought, a trend that coincided with Fraser's increasingly central role in the community. Fraser proposed and executed experiments just like any other community member, but his experiments had a scorched earth quality. They were all destructive. He moved from one area of the community life to the next in search of excess to cut back. Lately, he turned his scythe to the library. The New Selection meant decimating their store of books according to Fraser's own inscrutable criteria. Now, we are guaranteed something vital every time we take a book from the shelves. No more time lost to printed chaff. Fraser's colorless voice echoed in George's mind. He felt like spitting. Instead, he tucked the book under his arm and set off for the woods. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of Fraser if I learn more about them. Splitting up families, removing the books based on what he thought was worthy of existing in society. But what is this experimental community they were having? They must have been pretty nice pigs that they let you ride them like that. They were perfect gentlemen. Then what happened? Later, I had to cross the desert of broken glass. The desert was strangely beautiful. I mean, a desert of broken glass, probably. The desert was every different color all at once. I was overwhelmed. In a rapturous trance, I glided to the far end of the desert, where I continued my journey. I was traveling with some strange companions for a while too, but not as strange as yours. There was a white rabbit that followed me for a while. He had a collar with a name tag, like a cat or dog, but it was written in a language I'd never seen before. But by far my most memorable companions were the Martians. They were silly and lazy, and I think a little drunk, but I found them charming in their own way in the end. I hung out with an old dog and some musicians. Oh, I hung out with an old dog and some musicians. Wow. I'm jealous, but I won't let it ruin our friendship. We should stick together. It's a nice idea, but you should stay with your friends. I think they still need your help. These kids as like the party leaders of two roaming bands of strange ragtag groups. Sort of that Shaun of the Dead moment where they encounter the other almost identical group of people that had all the same archetypes, person for person.